People aren't pretending to be autistic just because they don't behave or look similar to the autistic people you may be aware of in your life. One of the critical pieces of information we have been seeking is exactly how many people would be forced off the scheme by these cuts. And one of the communities that are most concerned by what the answer to that question actually is the Australian autistic community, their families, their allies and their organisations. The reason they are particularly concerned, the reason they are justifiably fearful, some policymakers and politicians and the Minister who has flagged their resignation have played into an idea that there are large numbers of people who are faking their diagnosis. And that is extraordinarily harmful to the community. And in response to that, people have reached out and said very clearly that they wish to set the record straight. And I'll read you just two quotes that really stuck with me. One was somebody that reached out and said, to suggest that somebody later in life seeking diagnosis doesn't deserve support is to ignore the very real struggles that they may have gone through unrecognised for years. People aren't pretending to be autistic just because they don't behave or look similar to the autistic people you may be aware of in your life. This needs to be recognised. This clarity must be given to the Senate. Because traditionally there had been a view in the medical community and a kind of meme in the overall society that to be autistic looked like one particular thing, often characterised or presented in culture and media as somebody who is a man and somebody who has certain, what we would now understand as stereotypical characteristics. Over that 10 years of advocacy and work, excellently led by those with lived experience, the medical community and some policy makers have come to an understanding that those stereotypes of what it means to be autistic are just simply that, stereotypes that bear no reality to what it means to be autistic if you are a woman, if you are non-binary, if you're a queer person, if you're a person of colour. Now, through that growth of knowledge, there has been better diagnostic tools and more willingness for people to explore whether or not their experiences in life may in some way lead them to understand that they are in fact autistic. And we've seen an increase in the amount of diagnosis of autism in the overall population. This is a good thing. This is to be celebrated because it represents people getting a clearer and better understanding of why they experience the world around them in the way that they do.